Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kelvin. I'm the master ceremony on this beautiful Wednesday. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economic Universitas International Batam, Ms. Ria Karina, SAMM, the Honorable Head of Management Study Program, Dr. Evi Silvana Musinati, the Honorable Judges, the Honorable Lecturers, Universitas International Batam, the honorable participant, and also audience on this meeting room. I'm delighted to welcome you to the grand final of International Work Culture Videos Making Competition, a collaborative event that held by Universitas International Batam, University Tunku Abdul Rahman, supported by Independent Campus Competition Program, PKKM, Indonesia Ministry of Education and Culture. For a brief moment, we would like to invite you to sing together Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. After singing Indonesia Raya, now we welcome the Dean of Faculty of Economic in Universitas International Batam, Ms. Ria Karina, SAMM, to give a speech. Ms. Ria, the time is yours.
Oke, terima kasih MC. Bapak Ibu, berhubung di sini kita internal, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, biar lebih santai. Jadi suara saya kedengeran ya? Terdengar Bu Ria?
Kedengaran, Bu.
Oke, terima kasih. Mungkin yang pertama-tama yang terhormat Bu Evi selaku Ketua Program Sarjana Manajemen yang juga merupakan host dari kegiatan kita pada hari ini, kemudian juga Bu Dewi selaku Sekprodi, lalu juga banyak Bapak Ibu dosen yang hadir pada hari ini. Saya sapa juga Bapak Ibu yang menjadi juri dalam kompetisi kita pada hari ini. Jadi terima kasih atas partisipasi dan kesediaan Bapak Ibu dalam kegiatan kita hari ini, dan juga tidak lupa yang kami banggakan para mahasiswa peserta kompetisi yang telah aktif dan berjuang ya hingga saat ini, di mana ini adalah yang terakhir ya grand final untuk kompetisi International Work Culture Videos Making Competition. Jadi Bapak Ibu sekalian, seperti yang kita ketahui bahwa salah satu target dalam penyelenggaraan pendidikan yang kita lakukan ini di perguruan tinggi adalah bagaimana dari proses belajar, meneliti, maupun PKM yang dilakukan, itu baik oleh dosen ataupun oleh mahasiswa sendiri, itu bisa menciptakan lulusan ya pada akhirnya dengan kompetensi yang relevan dan sesuai dengan bidangnya, up to date, dan juga mungkin berguna bagi masyarakat gitu. Jadi kegiatan kompetisi seperti ini merupakan ajang penjaringan prestasi ya, supaya kita bisa menciptakan mahasiswa yang berprestasi, kemudian juga keunggulan dari mahasiswa untuk memiliki daya saing yang lebih tinggi daripada yang lainnya, dan juga memberikan wawasan dan juga experience ya untuk meningkatkan skill-nya mereka sesuai dengan kompetensi yang dituntut di dalam kompetisi tersebut gitu. Jadi kegiatan kompetisi ini dilakukan oleh Prodi Manajemen sebagai salah satu bagian dari pelaksanaan hibah program kompetisi Kampus Merdeka yang kita dapatkan tahun ini, dan bertujuan untuk meningkatkan relevansi dan daya saing ya dari mahasiswa, baik itu nanti di level nasional maupun internasional gitu. Jadi kami berharap para mahasiswa yang terlibat dalam kegiatan ini itu dapat memperoleh pengalaman baru selama proses berkompetisi, dan mudah-mudahan ya bisa mendapatkan skill tambahan yang memang relevan dan berguna untuk kebutuhan dan tren saat ini. Jadi semoga kegiatan kompetisi ini bisa berjalan dengan baik. Apapun hasilnya nanti pasti ada kalah dan menang kalau namanya kompetisi. Tapi jangan kecewa kalaupun walaupun kita kalah gitu, nggak mengecewakan lah, karena pada akhirnya hal-hal seperti ini akan memberikan dampak yang baik dan manfaat untuk kita semua. Yang mudah-mudahan seperti itu. Jadi terima kasih semuanya. Saya kembalikan kepada MC. Saya rasa cukup. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much for Ms. Ria Karina for the speech. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we will start our main session that we're waiting for, which is with final presentation from the finalists. This session will be led by Mr. Edi Yulanto Putra, SMMM, as our moderator. Mr. Edi, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time, Kelvin. Okay, now we will take the session as a moderator. Okay, hello everyone, nice to meet you, especially to the contestant and of course also the judge who have taken the time to assess the results of the participant. Introducing, my name is Edi Yulanto Putra, who will guide you as a moderator in this competitive activity. Congratulations to participants who are entered the final round. Hopefully the winner of this competition, the result of your hard work. To the participant, please stay calm and also follow the competition process, which is without disturbing the process of this competition. Okay, I need to say the competition will take place with a series of presentations from each participating group. It will take time 20 minutes, consisting of 10 minutes of presentation and 10 minutes of question and answer from the judge. Each judge will randomly judge the result you submit. Without wasting any more time, let's see the excitement of this competition and guess who won this competition. Okay, first I will choose the first and next participant from the spinning wheel. And please, each group prepare your presentation before your group name appears. Cheer up to the speaker of each group and let's get started. Okay, I will share screen from this spinning wheel, yeah, online spinning wheel. Okay, so, sorry. Now we will start the spin wheel from the first participant of this competition. 3, 2, 1, and get started. Okay, the first participant will be the Racy group. Please, Racy group, Time and screen is yours. Please prepare your presentation in front of the judge. Thank you.
If you'd give us a moment, please.
Okay.
Woi, kok tiba-tiba aku uh,
Is any problem, Raisi?
hold on.
From what just I am share, it's not the winner, but it's the random choose of the who is the first group for the presentation. Okay, I take
I
it from
see.
yeah.
I see. Thank you for
It's not
clarifying
the
that.
winner, but it's the who is the first go-to presentation. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Please prepare your presentation in front of the judge. Thank you.
Okay, Pak Edi, could we move to other groups?
Okay, Raisi, are you not done yet to share your presentation in front of the judge, or we will move to the
We're
other
not
group?
ready yet.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, maybe I will spin another chance for the participant group. Sorry. Okay, I will spin the wheel. Okay. The next participant is double S. Yeah, for the group double S, please present your result of this competition. Double S. Is there a participant from double S here?
Please wait. So the one percentage think there might have been problem.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we will move to other group again. Yeah, I think there is something problem with other group before. Yeah, I will spend other group. Yeah. The group chosen is Faita Cimu. Faita Cimu, are you ready?
Yes,
Faita
we are.
Cimu. Faita Cimu. Yes,
Yes, we are ready,
We're
sir.
ready, Pak.
Okay. Okay, when you're ready, just share your presentation and from the speaker, just present it in from the judge. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, judges, and also ladies and gentlemen. We are Fare Cimut team, and in this golden opportunity, we would like to present about Indonesian versus Japanese work culture. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce my team first. My name is Farhan, and there are my friends Tasya and Sunbuan.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, let us start our presentation. So, what comes to your mind if you talk about culture in Japan? Besides being known for its anime culture, Japan also has work culture that has successfully made them recognized by the world as a country with a very advanced economy. These work cultures have an important role in creating an atmosphere at work, increasing work motivation, as well as making employees produce better performance and be loyal to the company. Of course, the culture in every country is different. So are Indonesia and Japan. Even they are both in Asian countries, they have some cultural differences. Okay, let's talk about Indonesian work culture first. Most Indonesians should already know about this first culture. Politeness is one of Indonesians' identities. Because of that, Indonesian must call older people or seniors with Bapak and Ibu, which means sir and ma'am, to show respect. Then, ask permission before borrowing goods and shaking hands when meeting someone are also part of the politeness culture. Moreover, most Indonesian workers do not like to express criticism directly in public, but they prefer to share it in private. Then, building good relationship with coworkers and hanging out together after working hours is also one of Indonesia's work cultures. Now, how about culture in Japan? Starting in terms of teamwork, in Japan, teamwork is solid because workers in Japanese companies do not consider other workers as competitors in the workplace, but they consider them as teammates, so that workers in Japan tend to decide things together. And then, apart from the workers who have strong teamwork, Japanese workers also adapt the 5S work culture. And the 5S work culture include Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seikatsu, and Shitsuke. And then the first S, namely Seiri, where employees always sort and get rid of objects or work tools that are not used, so they have free space. And then Seiton is an activity that determines the layout of an object so that it can be found easily when needed and neatly organized. And the third S is Seiso, which means activities that prioritize and maintain the tidiness and cleanliness of the work environment and equipment before and after use. And the fourth S is Seikatsu. Seikatsu is a business that consistently carries out the 3S that I mentioned before, which are Seiri, Seiton, and Seiso. And the last S is Shitsuke, which is a work ethic that includes disciplines, mutual respect, obeying rules, and being ashamed to violate, where this 5S work culture affects the work effectiveness and the performance of workers in the company. And then the next culture will be presented by my friend Tasya. Tasya, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Farhan. So the following culture is senpai kohai. This relationship has become a common thing in Japanese society. These two terms describe how the relationship between seniors and juniors is stabilized both in public and in work life. A senior can generally be defined as having more or older work experience. In contrast, the kohai is a junior with a lower position than his senior and must be show respect and loyalty to his senior. The next is kaizen, a simple routine activity to increase productivity by making improvement that focus on continuous development. The kaizen system will correct this error. That means the company will analyze the problem that caused errors, plans things that need to be done, and re-evaluate. Next. Then there is nemawashi. Nemawashi is very important for Japanese people because they tend to maintain harmony and avoid conflict. If they want to submit a proposal, it will be better if they do nemawashi to discuss various possible important decisions and express their fears and opinion about the proposal. The Japanese will approach first to reach an agreement. They enter official talks and conflict is avoided. Next. Last but not least, it's called as Horenso or Hokoku, Renraku, and Soudan. Hokoku is an activity to periodically report the progress of work status to superiors. Similar to Hokoku, but the difference is that Renraku is more about providing information that is conveyed informally to fellow team members. The purpose of doing Renraku is to ensure that all team members are involved by the work and are aware of the relevant information. Lastly, Saudan is conducted to seek advice from fellow coworkers and superiors when they are stuck in a problem. In addition, these cultures also aim to ensure all team members are on the same track so that no team members feels left behind or abandoned by the team. Because for companies in Japan, communication is the top priority more than anything else. The next topic will be presented by my friend Buan. Buan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Tasha. Well, the next topic that we will present is the comparison of state dimension between two countries, namely Japan and Indonesia. So as you know, there are 6 dimensions of culture, including power distance, individualism, collectivism, masculinity, femininity, uncertainty, avoidance, long or short-term orientation, and the last is indulgence, restraint. Okay, let's start with the first dimension, power distance. As can be seen in the table on the screen, Indonesia got a score of 78 in the power distance dimension, which can be concluded from the score that work life in Indonesia places great importance on hierarchy. This statement is supported by the existence of the power gap between superiors and subordinate, where power is concentrated in manager and employees are expected to obey the orders given. Meanwhile, in Japan, all decisions have to be confirmed by every layer of the hierarchy and end up in the top management. The next is individualism, collectivism. Workers in Indonesia are very dependent on each other, so that Indonesia society is categorized as collectivism. It can be seen that Indonesia has a score of 14 from the individualism dimension. This is support because gotong royong has become a culture and characteristic of Indonesian society. Likewise, with Japanese workers, although Japanese society is famous for its people who have close personalities, so they are not too dependent on each other, but in groups, Japanese people show loyalty to their group and feel more responsible toward their group and than the other. And they place group harmony above personal opinion to avoid conflict between workers. So thus, Japan has a score of 46 for the individualism dimension and is categorized as collectivism instead of individualism. Next is masculinity, femininity. Japan has a high score for masculinity dimension, which is reaching a score of 97. This culture is supported by the way Japanese people work, which show the Japanese workers prioritize success over human relation. So it's very common that they are rarely seen interacting with foreigners. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, with a score 46, this is because the Indonesian people are better known for their friendliness, and Indonesian people always give warm greetings and spread smiles to anyone. Then uncertainty avoidance dimension. Okay, in this dimension, work culture in Indonesia got a score of 46, where Indonesia workers tend to avoid conflict with superiors, are firm, of avoiding uncertainty because the satisfaction of their superiors is their priority. So they can avoid economic and positional uncertainty. And contrary to what happened in Japan, they have a near perfect score of 92 on the uncertainty avoidance dimension. This extremely high score is caused because Japanese people being used to preparing for uncertainty. Considering that Japan is often hit by tsunamis, earthquakes, and other disasters that very detrimental. So that in Japan, in any decision, all facts and figures must be available in a detail, and all risks must be taken in account to avoid uncertainty. Then Hofstede fifth cultural dimension is long-term or short-term orientation. Indonesia got a score 62 points, which show the companies in Indonesia pay enough attention to long-term goals and having the preference to achieve result. Meanwhile, Japan has a score of 88, which is relatively high because they see their life as a brief moment and have to do their best in life. And the last dimension is indulgence versus restraint. Indonesia and Japan have little common with almost equal points. It is 38 for Indonesia and 42 for Japan. So they are categorized as restraint dimension. This reasonably low value belongs to the restrained society where people in Indonesia and Japan do not emphasize leisure time. As has happened, many Indonesia and Japanese workers do not have a work-life balance. People with this orientation perceive that their actions are limited by social norms and feel that self-indulgence is something that is not appropriate. Workers should have a balanced time between working and living their own life by resting and doing what they like.
Okay, judges, ladies and gentlemen, that is our presentation today. But before I close this presentation, let me give the conclusion. The conclusion is, behind the many cultures different between Indonesia and Japan, these two countries also have a similar culture. Indonesian and Japanese people respect seniors in the workplace. Seniority is still held in high esteem in these two countries, where respect and courtesy must be shown to those who are older and more senior. The subsequent culture that is similar in Japan and Indonesia is a restrained society, where people do not have the freedom to fulfill their personal desires because rules, cultures, and religion limit them. Based on that, we quite certain that Indonesia should to imitate the Japanese 5S culture, which will significantly facilitate everyone's work. A neat and clean workplace and communicative co-workers can be an example for many companies in Indonesia to develop better. On the other hand, we must be able to understand the work culture of other peoples from different backgrounds to achieve common goals. Understanding how the person behave and brainstorming can help make it easier for us to work on tasks together and create a more comfortable work environment. That's all about our presentation today. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.
Okay, thank you for the Faitachimu group. Yeah, I think it is a splendid presentation about Japanese and Indonesian work culture. Yeah, sometimes we know that Japanese is and Indonesian work culture is somehow is different, but in other way it's similarly. Yeah, maybe we can apply a good work culture, of course, in increasing work productivity or maybe for the goods perspective. Yeah. I will place the judge to give a comment or maybe give assessment for this Faitachimu group presentation. Please, maybe Mr. Agustinus for your comment. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Pak Edi. And thanks for the presentation, Faitachimu. Yeah, this is very good name. Yeah, and what is the meaning of Faitachimu, parents?
In Japanese, Faitachimu means fighter team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that your team is, ready always ready, and I also noted that your presentation and also video and everything is well prepared. Yeah. Again,
Thank
I
you, sir.
appreciate on that. Yeah. Okay. One question from me, parents, yeah, and Tasha and Sun Buan, yeah. So very interesting about the discipline. In your opinion, in your group, yeah, about discipline related to the work culture in Japan and Indonesia is quite different, yeah, for the discipline. Actually, Japan is 3.5 years, yeah. When in 1945 something, yeah. Indonesia and Japan is very close actually since last time, but for the discipline is very different because I have experience work in Japanese company also. Yeah, in your opinion, in your team and I mean in your team opinion, what is the significant factor, yeah, that make different is according to the discipline factor between Indonesia and Japanese. And the second question, if we are become very disciplined person like in Japan, yeah, what is your suggestion? Especially this is general, yeah. This is not talking about millennial, not talking about generation, but for general. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the question. Let us discuss for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we will wait for the answer from the Faitachimu group. Faitachimu, when you are ready, just answer the judge's questions. Thank you. Okay, Faitachimu, I think the time is enough. Please give your answer from your group.
Okay. First, us answer it in Indonesian. Oke, jadi untuk faktor yang mempengaruhi perbedaan yang sangat drastis antara kedisiplinan di Indonesia dan Jepang, salah satunya adalah Jepang memiliki budaya rasa malu yang tinggi. Jadi ketika mereka melakukan kesalahan, mereka akan merasa sangat malu dan harga diri mereka akan turun. Sedangkan kalau di Indonesia, seperti yang kita tahu, tidak semua orang punya rasa malu yang cukup tinggi ketika berbuat salah. Jadi menurut kami, itu adalah salah satu faktor utama penyebab kenapa di Jepang dan Indonesia memiliki tingkat kedisiplinan yang berbeda. Untuk pertanyaan yang kedua, apabila kedisiplinan yang di Jepang diterapkan di Indonesia, menurut kami ini akan membuat banyak sekali perusahaan ataupun UMKM di Indonesia itu akan semakin maju, karena seperti yang kita tahu, kedisiplinan itu bisa mempengaruhi produktivitas. Tentunya produktivitas ini sangat berpengaruh terhadap semua aspek operasional ataupun marketing dan segalanya. Jadi jika kedisiplinan di Jepang diterapkan di Indonesia akan sangat mungkin akan perlahan membuat banyak perusahaan dan UMKM di Indonesia semakin maju. Sekian dari jawaban kami. Terima kasih.
Oke, thank you very much Pak Tachimu ya. Oke, tadi ada rasa malu ya, itu yang penting sebenarnya ya. Oke, terima kasih. Ya.
Okay, thank you for Pak Tachimu Group and Judge Mr. Agus. I think there's not something want to add again, and we will move forward to the other group. Okay, double S group, please prepare your presentation and present it in front of the judge. Thank you. Double S, are you ready? Okay, yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, all judges and all participants that join with us today. Today, we are given a chance to present our work about work culture analysis comparisons between Indonesia and South Korea. First of all, let me introduce myself and my team. My name is Jennifer, and with me there is Rico Cartono and Calvin. We are from Universitas Internasional Batam, majoring in management. Without further ado, I will start to present what we have been researching for the international work culture video making. First of all, in chapter 1, we explain about the background or the things behind this research. Work culture has a very dominant influence on the success of failures of the company in building employees and performance. Work culture also has a positive impact on the company's economic performance. Work culture can be created and formatted to improve organizational performance. In South Korea work culture, Korean business enterprise as a well-emphasized on several aspects: harmony between people, unity of corporations, diversions, perseverance, originality, creativity, and overall development. South Korea business also emphasizes honesty, trustworthiness, effectivity, quality, and responsibility. Meanwhile, Indonesian work culture tends by being mutually cooperative to encourage the whole teams respect each other to build competitiveness and work together to build things together. How does South Korean work culture cooperate with Indonesia? There are also three purposes in our analysis, which are: the first is knowing the work culture of the South Korea country. The second is knowing the difference between South Korea and Indonesia work culture. The third, comparing the two work culture. And the last of part or the last of chapter 1 is about the benefits of right that we want to give and share about work culture in South Korea and Indonesia, as well as increasing skills in analyzing work culture. So we move to the next culture. There is about theoretical basis. In the large dictionary Indonesians, culture is a way or lifestyle that develops and is shared by a group of people and is passed down from generation to generation. Culture consists of many elements, namely customs, language, religious and political systems, tools, clothing, buildings, and work of art. The meaning of work culture is that it is a concept based on habits or overall behavior patterns of each individual or group that is culture and develops of being developed in an organization or company to maintain effectivity at work. The work culture was created to aim of improving employees' performance to be more productive so that the company's vision and mission can be realized and will be able to face all challenges in the future. According to Telitudara, the elements of work culture can be divided into two elements, namely, the first is attitude towards work. That is an interest in work corporates to other activities, such as relaxing or simply getting satisfactions from the business of someone on work or feeling complete to do something just to survive. And the second is behavior at work, such as diligence, discreet, responsibly, careful, trust, and strong will to understand their duties and obligations, like to help fellow employee or vice versa. Work culture has a target, which is a chance to change the attitudes and behavior of human resources in order to increase work productivity in facing various challenges in the future. The upside of implementing a good work culture, there are 6. The first is increasing the spirit of mutual cooperation, and the second is increase cooperativeness. The third is be open to each other. The fourth is to communicate better. And the fifth, increase work productivity. And the last is respond to the development of the outside world. The point being the benefits of a good work culture will bring positive change in activating the results received by the leadership, such as mutual cooperation, competitiveness, openness, kinship, and also work productivity within the company. The work culture is the organization shows by failure of the work culture in the organization to be studied, which are expressed by using certain means many times, so that people can observe and feel them. There are the first point from the failure of the work culture, including discipline, openness, mutual respect, and cooperation. In work culture, there are also types of work culture. Namely, first is kind culture. Kind work culture is a work culture that creates an environment that tends to be friendly and welcoming. The second is market culture. Market work culture is a work culture that uses competitions as the basis for running a company. The third is hierarchy culture. Hierarchical work culture attends to concept of a formal and structured work environment. The fourth is educative culture. An environment that adheres to a courtesy work culture will be creativity. Based on the theoretical basis that we have explained in chapter 2, so here are our results and discussion. Indonesia is a country located in South Asia, between the Indian and Pacific Oceans and between Asia and Australia. Indonesia has a distinctive and quite adequate work culture. There are some of characteristics of Indonesian work culture. The first is addressing superiors. Normally, As an employee, they know the importance of their supervisors, and there are also to end users using addressing them by sustainable title such as Bapak, which means sir, and Ibu, which means ma'am, rather than just calling them by their first name. The second is business relationships. For Indonesia, most of the business relationships are based on close friend and familiar relationships. So most of time, if someone is applying which are recommendations from one of the activity employee working in the business, they will have a higher chance to get accepted. The third is working hours. In Indonesia, the standard working hours is 7 or 8 hours per day, working from Monday to Friday or Saturday, depending on the company or business. An employee is expected to arrive on time. If they are late is expected salary will be cut. The working environment in Indonesia is quite relaxed compared to other ASEAN countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, Korea, and others. So, for some Indonesia that work outside of the country, most of them find that it's quite difficult for them because of the work culture is different. South Korea is known for its very rich culture. So, of course, they are going to have distinct work environments. South Korea work culture may just be the most adequate among Asia. The first is heretical. The Korean society is based on heretical, so the other people get respect more and pretty much get their way. This is the same in the work environment. In some company, age matters more than skill. The second is business relationships. For contributions of the whole teams is the utmost importance. Individual contributions is a religion if it leads to the success of the team. Therefore, most of the time, some employee in the company will leave the office together to go have some dinner, drink, and possibly a karaoke session to keep the team's environment as a close family as possible. And the last is working hours. The standard working hours in Korea is from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. There is an unwritten rule that employee is expected to work overtime regularly, and is quite for not employee to leave the office before the boss. This means that typical Korean work far longer than what is established in their working contracts. Both countries' work culture is quite different. In comparison, Indonesian work culture is quite relaxed. The working hours is consistent, and overall, the environment is not too hard compared to the other country. Well, South Korea work culture is quite strict. The working hours is not consistent. If you are a newcomer, you cannot expect your opinions overall. The environment is stressful, but there is a similarity like keeping the criticism private rather than discussion in the public, but focusing on group mentality rather than individuals. So a group is more important than individual. Last but not least, based on the results of the proposed discussion, we can conclude that the working environment in Indonesia is quite relaxed compared to Korea. Indonesia work hours are consistent overall compared to Korea, where employees are expected to work overtime regularly and is quite for not open to leave the office before the boss. That's all from us. Is there any question?
Okay, thank you for double S group. Yeah, it's very interesting to know that Korean and Indonesia is many differences, and maybe it's not like similarly. Yeah, we like Korean culture, especially K-pop, K-drama, but what about the work culture that occurs between these two countries? I think Miss Aurelia can be the first judge who can ask question and for more further discussion. Thank you, Ms. Aurelia. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. Thank you for Double S for the nice presentation. I would like to comment on your paper. Your paper is written in English. However, the title, you write the title in Indonesian language. So the title is Analisis Perbandingan Budaya Kerja di Indonesia dengan Budaya Kerja Korea. It should be written in English also because you have to be consistent when you write the paper. If you want to write the paper in English, you have to be consistent from the first page until the last page, okay? And for the video, I saw the video. It is quite interesting, nice video. And I would like to give the question, what do you think about the work culture in Korea that is that we can implement it in Indonesia and it is suitable for us also, so we can imitate their work culture? What do you think? What is the important work culture that we can copy or we can imitate? Thank you.
I think for the first question from Miss Aurelia is about how we can to imitate or maybe we can adapt to the Korean work culture. Yeah, that is the first question, and I think Miss Reni, can you give your question maybe for the more discussion? Thank you. Miss Reni?
Okay. Can you hear? Okay.
It's echo, Miss.
Yes,
Echo.
thank you. Nah, as Mr. Eddie said, that we are impacted by the Korean culture, especially drama and maybe the song. You think that will impact this culture can be impacted to our work culture also, or just in the maybe fun side, only the fun side, but in the work culture, is it possible that we can imitate their culture in the work? Just like said, they're more disciplined than us, they have very strong work culture. If they're not done with their work, they will not go home. And the other side of that culture, like maybe they have time to spend with their friends. Is it going to impact our culture in the future, especially in the working culture? Thank you.
Okay, I think the question from Miss Aurelia and Miss Reni Christiarini, please, double X group, I will give you about 3 minutes to think your answer, and I will start from this timer. Yeah, sorry for the second. Okay, I will give you 3 minutes to give your answer. Okay, about the 2 questions from Miss Reni and Miss Aurelia. Time start is from now.
Okay, sure.
Or maybe if you're ready to answer just in time, sorry, ready to answer, you just answer. Yeah, I will give you 3 minutes. Okay, time is complete. Yeah, please, Jennifer, or maybe the double S group, you can give your answer to the judge.
Thank you for the question from Judges Arula and Remy. I would like to answer the question, which Indonesia? Terima kasih atas pertanyaannya dari Ibu Erlia dan Bu Remy. Saya akan menjawab pertanyaan dari Bu Erlia terlebih dahulu. Saya simpulkan dari pertanyaan pertama sih mengenai apakah ada budaya kerja dari negara Korea yang bisa dilakukan di negara Indonesia. Kalau menurut dari kelompok kami, lebih ke bagian penghormatan mereka. Karena cara mereka menghormati para orang yang lebih tua ataupun atasan mereka, mereka lebih, contoh nih, atasan mereka ini lebih mudah dibanding bawahannya. Tetapi setiap kali para atasannya lewat, bahkan hanya lewat saja para bawahan mereka sudah bisa memberi hormat. Sedangkan Indonesia berbeda. Indonesia bakal ngerasa mereka tuh lebih kecil dari saya, jadi buat apa saya menghormati walaupun statusnya itu atasan saya. Kebiasaan buruk dari Indonesia adalah itu. Jadi hal yang bisa dikopi dari negara Korea sih menurut saya cara penghormatan mereka memandang seorang atasan. Dan untuk menjawab pertanyaan dari Bu Reni mengenai apakah ada yang bisa juga dikopi ya Bu Reni kalau nggak salah pertanyaannya. Ataupun dilaksanakan atau bisa nggak adaptasi dari ya Bu?
Maksudnya begini, kalian ini kan sering melihat, I think that you seen a lot of pop culture bring by the Korean star or maybe pop star. Is it going to be the same like you see this pop culture with their working culture? Is it going to be in the future you will copy the working culture? Okay.
Okay, thank you Bu. Sebenarnya untuk work culture dari negara Korea sebenarnya cukup ada bagusnya, ada tidak bagusnya. Jadi seperti jam bekerja mereka aja tidak teratur. Sedangkan seperti tanda tangan di kontrak mereka tuh sudah berbeda dengan apa yang terjadi di kehidupan mereka akan mendatang. Jadi untuk seperti itu negara Korea itu termasuk yang sangat menekan. Contohnya kayak negara Jepang aja sudah termasuk yang disiplin banget dalam jam kerja, tidak mengenal waktu. Korea juga seperti itu, cuma nggak sekeras negara Jepang. Jadi kalau dibandingin negara Korea sama negara Jepang, negara Korea dengan Indonesia, buruknya negara Korea itu di jam waktu kerja. Dan mengenai untuk jam kerja sampai ke para K-popers, itu termasuk juga. Makanya untuk jam istirahat mereka aja bisa per jam saja, tidak seperti seharusnya mereka istirahat. Jadi untuk positifnya dari salah satu yang harus kita negara Indonesia copy dari work culture dari Korea itu, di mana work culture Korea itu sangat menghargai rasa kekeluargaan mereka terhadap para pegawai kerja mereka. Jadi bisa-bisa dalam sehari atau dalam seminggu sekali mereka bisa melaksanakan untuk karaoke bersama, makan bersama, ataupun tiap malam pun mereka bisa untuk merayakan. Contoh nih, ada sesuatu keberhasilan dikit aja, tapi mereka sudah bisa merayakan seperti happy banget. Tapi kalau di Indonesia berbeda. Indonesia malah kalau ya contohnya sampai target nih dalam satu perusahaan, ya udah sampai aja. Tapi di perusahaan tertentu sih sebenarnya. Cuman kebanyakan kalau perusahaan-perusahaan yang ada di Indonesia ataupun kinerja budaya di Indonesia tuh tidak ada itu. Sedangkan di Korea ada. Begitu sih Bu jawaban dari saya.
Okay, is it satisfied for the judge, the answer from the Jennifer from Double S Group?
Thank you for Double S Group. Nice explanation. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for Double S Group too.
Okay, maybe from Mr. Aldeneson, do you want to give your comment maybe, or maybe something you want to say to Jennifer and Double S Group? Mr. Alden, your mic is still mute.
Hello.
Okay, I hear it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, Double S Group. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I have a questions as related to your presentation. You mentioned that about work culture comparison, especially business relationship. What do you think and why? Yeah, in Batam, only a few businessmen in Batam develop from or business Korean develop their business in Indonesia, especially in Batam. Because when we see in 2000 something, yeah, a few more than 10 company still establish and run a business in Batam. So what is the main reason do you think with the culture of Indonesia in Batam, they not compete or they not adapt it, so they maybe move to another country? So how we can align it? And because we see that our government currently try to get the investor to Indonesia, especially to Batam. So what is the main reason with the our culture? So the businessmen from Korea is not invest or develop their business in Batam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Alden. Okay, Jennifer, maybe meanwhile you're thinking about your answer, yeah, I maybe please Judge Theodosia, Miss Theodosia, is there anything you want to add about their presentation in terms of language and delivery of material? Please, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edi Yulianto. So overall for the presentation, so I can see that you don't read the slides, yeah. You present the points and you can elaborate the explanations very well. So I think Jennifer is the only one who present, right? Okay, okay. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for the presentations. Actually, I want to add a question, but I think to save the time, I think I will give the questions to other group. But overall, for the presentations, you already did a very good job, although you only presented alone. But yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Okay, Jennifer, do you want a time to think about your answer for the judge, Mr. Alden Linson, or you want just immediately answer the questions?
Sure, may I get some minutes for think first for the answer?
Okay, please. I will give you 2 minutes for the answer to think your answer. Okay, Ting Tong. The time is up. Okay, Jennifer, please give your answer to the judge for Mr. Alden Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alden Nelson, for the question. May I answer which Indonesia? Tadi pertanyaan dari Pak Alden, kalau nggak salah dari tanggapan saya sih, kayak menurut kelompok kalian, apa yang buat perusahaan Korea bisa berkembang di Indonesia? Kayak apa yang buat mereka nggak takut untuk invest di Indonesia? Jadi untuk kalau jawaban dari kelompok saya sih, karena kalau Batam kan termasuk negara yang kota yang dekat dengan negara Singapura. Itu salah satu keunggulan dari Batam. Sehingga Batam termasuk negara tempat yang banyak sebagai para wisata, para negara dari Batam itu termasuk tempat yang banyak jadi tempat pariwisata oleh banyak negara. Sehingga itu termasuk, dan Cina juga, kayak Cina, bahkan Cina aja bisa sampai ke Batam untuk melakukan investasi karena Batam tuh sebagai tempat pariwisata. Selain karena itu barang-barang Batam tuh murah dan tempat banyak lalu lalang oleh warga asing, sehingga membuat Batam tuh menjadi unggul walaupun hanya sebuah kota kecil yang ada di negara Indonesia, tapi bahkan di negara-negara besar pun bisa terkenal. Sehingga juga karena budaya Singapura sama Korea itu sebenarnya lumayan mirip, cuma nggak terlalu mirip, sehingga banyak penduduk dari negara lain menyukai sistem dari kota Batam. Itu sih Pak, jawaban dari saya.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Jennifer. Mr. Alden Nelson, is there something we want to add again? Or maybe you want to give your comment?
Yeah, I would like to add, yeah. Our work culture sometimes push other people, even though the people don't like it. And sometimes in Indonesia culture, we see that, yeah, few weeks ago, there is a big demonstration. When I work and I discuss with some colleagues in SR from Korea, they don't like it. Sometimes, yeah, we push people, yeah, to do something even though they don't like it. In Korean style, yeah, they like to work, yeah, with harmonies, with the harmonies. So this is, yeah, one of the main reason. And do not push others if they don't like to do, because they want, yeah, they would like to, yeah, to invest and they would like to get, yeah, or to earn money from the job. Yeah, my feedback to you is because our culture is always pushing others people even though they don't like it, and with this culture is to be improved. Especially Jennifer and the team, yeah, will be a new candidate for the new employer, yeah, or employee. So you have to think and to encourage your colleagues also to to have this mentality. Yeah, this is my feedback to you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
I
sir.
think yeah.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Alden feedback is very good, yeah. Because we know that this week they have the big demonstration in Batam, especially. Yeah, maybe it's about the work culture. Okay, I think time is enough for Double S group. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer, for your hard work. Yeah. Okay, we will move forward to the next group, yeah. From the Ngambis group. Yeah, Ngambis group, time and screen is yours. Thank you.
Mama pergi dulu nak ya, beli itu ya.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Angela, please present your presentation and give your explanation in front of the judge. Thank you.
Flo, can you? Okay, thank you, Flo. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and dear judges and participants. Before I start the presentation, let's watch this short video first.
Angela, I think something wrong with your video. It's not playing.
Wait, sir. I think there's a problem with the connection.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. We will wait for your video and presentation. Okay, maybe it's because something wrong with the techniques. Maybe we can have a break for 5 minutes, and then after this 5 minutes, Angela and your friend from your group is ready to present it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe student from the group, and especially for the group from Ngambis, I think your video is ready to show for us. Okay, and we will continue to the main session. Thank you.
Saya menyampaikan selamat kepada Italia yang telah sukses menjalankan presidensi G20 di tahun 2021. Dan Indonesia merasa terhormat untuk meneruskan presidensi G20 tahun 2022. Kami akan menjamu Yang Mulia dan Bapak Ibu di hamparan pantai Bali yang indah yang menginspirasi gagasan-gagasan inovatif untuk produktivitas G20 ke depan. Sampai bertemu di Indonesia, terima kasih.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the inconvenience before. So as you already watched earlier in the video, for the first time in 20 years, Indonesia is selected to be the G20 2022 presidency. Next. The symbolic handover of G20 presidency from Italy to Indonesia was held at La Nuvola, Rome, Italy on October 31st, 2021 during the closing ceremony of G20 summit. So Indonesia officially ran their presidency 2 weeks ago, December 1st to be exact, with the theme of Recover Together, Recover Stronger. We all know that each country is competing to increase the country's nominal GDP as one of the determining indicators of economic growth to compete with the surrounding countries. In order to achieve economic growth, every company in a country needs to apply in effective, comfortable, and positive work culture, which therefore will increase the employees' performance and loyalty that could help in increasing the company revenue. As the 2022 G20 presidency, Indonesia is encouraging joint efforts for the goals of world economic recovery. Next. So, do all the judges and participants here think that Indonesia can achieve their G20 goals through increasing economic growth with the first step of implementing optimized work culture? And the second question is, does a work culture from a developed country means that the country has already implemented an optimized work culture? And the last question, can Indonesia and other developing countries adapt a developed country work culture such as America? So, from all of the questions above, we decided to do a study on recovering global economy with Hofstede's cultural dimension theory, world culture of Indonesia and America. So let's meet the team. There's myself, Angela, and then Caroline and Florentina will present to you our results and discussions of our study. We decided to analyze the work culture of Indonesia as the developing country and America as the developed country based on Hofstede's 6 cultural dimensions that is based on our analysis and are strengthened by using multiple references from other studies. Next. First, we will discuss the comparison of Indonesia and America work culture based on Hofstede's cultural dimensions. There are 6 points with power distance as the first, individualism, masculinity, uncertainty avoidance, long-term orientation, and indulgence. And last, we will conclude and give recommendations based on our results and discussions. So without further ado, let's move on to the first dimensions. We have power distance. So based on a power distance, Indonesia scored 78, where Indonesia have a characteristic of being dependent and centered on hierarchy. This could lead to unequal rights between power holders and non-power holders, where the power will surely be around those in the higher part of the hierarchy, while America, on the other hand, scored 40. This can be seen with the American liberty and justice for all. This phrase emphasizes equal rights in all aspects of American society and government. In an organization, a hierarchy is established for convenience and managers rely on the employees and teams for their expertise. And the second cultural dimensions we got individualism. So Indonesia scored the lowest in individualism, which means that Indonesia is a collectivist society. This also means that there is a high preference for a strongly defined social framework, of which individuals are expected to adjust to the ideals of the society and groups which they are belong to. While American, on the other hand, scored the highest with the score of 91, proven by the society is loosely knit in which the people look after themselves and their intermediate families only. In the business world, employees are expected to be self-reliant and display initiative. And that is why America scored the highest in individualism. Next. For the third cultural dimension, we got masculinity, where Indonesia scored 46. So Indonesia is considered low masculine, where status and visible symbols of success are important, but it is not always material gain that brings motivation. There is a concept called gengsi, where it is important to be maintained, thereby projecting a different outward appearance, aimed at impressing and creating the aura of status. While America, on the other hand, scored 62. Americans base their behavior on the winner takes all and strive to be the best they can be, which will result in them talking freely about their achievements and success in life. There's also a can-do mentality, which is belief that there is always a possibility to do things in a better way. Typically, to obtain monetary rewards, Americans will live to work and as a consequence attain higher status based on how good one can be. On the fourth cultural dimension, we got uncertainty avoidance. So in Indonesia scored 48. Generally, Indonesians will avoid expressing negative emotions or anger externally when handling other people's anger. So there is a famous phrase in Indonesia work culture that states, asal bapak senang, as long as the boss is happy, where employee will obey the rules, and by that, employee will avoid economic or status uncertainty and become one of the valuable members of the company as their effort of keeping the boss happy. And for America, they scored 46. Americans tend to have a medium-high acceptance to new ideas, opinions, and allow the freedom of expression. Employees are willingly to defy organizations' rules, procedures, and norms for the sake of developing a new concept. And for the fifth cultural dimension, we got long-term orientation, where Indonesia scored 62. Indonesia's work culture adopts pragmatic culture and show an ability to adapt easily to changing conditions, strong preference on saving and investing, thriftiness and perseverance on achieving results. Business-wise, Indonesians usually establish a long-term commitment where it is common for company to maintain their partnership or alliance for years ahead. While American, on the other hand, scored 26. Short-term orientation is very evident in both American socials and business culture, where people are seeking instant gratification and wanting quick results within the workplace. So living in a fast-paced country, the idiom time is money reflects on American business people, where building relationships and long-term partnership is not always a priority and immediate success is often prioritized. And lastly, we got the sixth cultural dimension, which is indulgence. So in indulgence, Indonesians scored 38. Country with a low score in indulgence shows that the country has a nature of restraint and tendency to cynicism and pessimism. Indonesians believe that their actions are controlled by social norms or norma sosial, and having a time for leisure is unethical and rather control their desires and impulses. While America, on the other hand, scored 68. American society can be categorized as an indulgent society. Americans have a famous phrase, work hard, play hard, where they believe that if a person works hard to earn what they achieve, then they are worthy of spending their money and time on something they want, which therefore shows that most Americans have a weak self-control of desires and impulses. Next. So not only Hofstede's cultural dimensions, there are also additional work cultures factors in that Indonesians and Americans have similarities in. So Indonesians and Americans tend to show emotions, wearing neat formal attire when working unpaid overtime, and throwing jokes to co-workers depending on the situation and whom they are talking to. But there are also lots of differences, of course, such as next. Such as Americans are more open and curious about personal thoughts, tend to self-promote using a direct communication speech and having transformational leadership, while Indonesians, on the other hand, are more private, humble, using indirect communication and having both transformational and autocratic leadership. Next. So based on our results and discussions that we found, we conclude that having either a high or low score in Hofstede's cultural dimensions and both similarities and differences in work cultures could result in a positive and negative outcomes. And we also would recommend that as globalization continues, each cultural dimension and other factors that affect work cultures of both countries will be useful to evaluate, adapt, and look at as a way to start optimizing work cultures in different countries all over the world. With the first step of implementing optimized work culture, Indonesia could start to help recover the global economy that had been badly impacted by the pandemic through the G20 2022 presidency goals. Next. So we hope that through Indonesia's first ever G20 presidency in 2022, and by taking the first step of optimizing work culture in countries all over the world, could help in recovering global economy, just like how their hopes are shown through the logo and the theme of Recover Together, Recover Stronger. And lastly, we hope that our study of recovering global economy with Hofstede's cultural dimension theory, work culture of Indonesia and America, will bring new insights and will be useful for the community. Thank you for Management Study Program for creating this competition. Thank you for the judges and participants, and that's all from us, and good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Angela. Yeah, it's splendid for your presentation. Thank you for a very complete presentation. Yes, in my opinion, this is very complete and very interesting between America and Indonesia. Here I will give it to the judges who are experts, of course, in sparking further questions and discussion. Please, Mr. Agustinus, time is yours, and I think it is accordance to your expertise. Okay, thank you, Mr. Agustinus.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Edi, and thank you, Angela and Tim. Yeah. Great presentation, Angela. Yeah. Okay, and then also good explanation. I have one question, a very simple question, Angela. Actually, I have working experience. Yeah, I work with the American company more than 10 years, Angela. Yeah, and one thing that I really interested and also still remember until now. Yeah, maybe you know about the speak up culture. Yeah, speak up culture. Yeah, and if you are working with an American company, if you are silent, will be problem. Yeah, sooner or later will be problem. But if compare with Japanese, if you are, I mean, more active and more speak up during in your work, also have a problem. Yeah, so this is a big difference. But no, because your topic is about the culture, work culture in Indonesia and America. So I have question about the speak up culture. So how to improve speak up culture? Yeah, in Indonesia, because I got many feedback and also some opinion from my friend, especially in American company, people working in American company. They mentioned that many Indonesians they don't like speak up, especially in the in the working place, in the workplace. But I think for me, right now it's time to speak up is very good, because now is especially we are talking about millennial generation, you need to speak up, you need to speak up. And how to improve that one, speak up in Indonesia. But not in general meaning, Angela, but you need to give the specific answer. Okay, thank you very much, Angela.
Okay, Angela, maybe you can write down the question from Mr. Agustinus, and then you will answer in just one session. Okay, I think we will move to maybe Miss Reni Krisyarini. If you is there is something you want to ask, maybe about the organizational behavior, or maybe something about the work culture from the from Angela presentation.
Oh, okay. Can you back to your presentation, especially in the indulgence parts? Okay, thank you. No, it's just like I said to Mr. Agus just right now, just this moment. I think Indonesia for indulgence sport. Wait. For indulgence score, Indonesia have a very low 38 score just for indulgence. But I think for this generation, especially in your generation, the term work hard, play hard is now occurring, and not just only about restraint and tendency. So is it, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about this term work hard and play hard in your generation, especially millennial generation or maybe Z generation? That's my opinion for your indulgence, because I think this is very different in the practice, since I see that a lot of Indonesians right now doing like, I'm working hard, but I also play hard. Okay, Angela, thank you. But it is a good presentation. Thank you, Pak Edi.
Okay, thank you for Miss Reni in term of asking question for the indulgence. Yeah, Angela, you still can write down, and maybe I will move to Mr. Alden Nelson. Is there something you want to ask to this group? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great presentation. I'm quite interesting about power distance. When I see the presentation from presenter one, it's the same like yours. That the score for the power presentation for Indonesia is higher compared to USA and compared to Japan's. But when we see the work culture, Indonesia, Japan's, and Indonesia, mostly Indonesia and Japan's are the same, mostly because seniority. My question, what is the main reason America still, for the score lower than Indonesia, and how this become a positive work culture for Indonesian, and especially for millennial, it can be maintained, and it become a strong point or strength, for our employee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arden. Angela, please write down the question from Mr. Arden. And then we will move to the next judge, Ms. Aurelia. Is there something you want to comment or maybe add, or maybe the questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Eddie. For this group, I don't have any question, but however, I would like to comment on the paper. When I read the paper is well written, and it is quite comprehensive, and it is supported by quite many references that you all guys used on the paper, and I like it, and it's very good. And also the video is quite interesting for me. So that's all. Keep up the good work for this group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Aurelia. Ms. Theodosia, is there something you want to comment about, or maybe you want to ask about the for this group, for the Ngambis group? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. So similar to Ms. Aurelia, so honestly, I'm amazed with the scientific paper that you have submitted. Also, I think you have prepared the videos very good as well. Okay, and for the questions, the question is because the work culture between Indonesia and America is different, so it probably causes cultural shock. Cultural shock means that it appears because of the different work cultures. For example, an Indonesian work with America, work in American, and an American work in Indonesia. So what are the culture shocks that may appear? For like if Indonesian workers work in America and also vice versa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Theodosia. Yeah, Angela, I think there's maybe about 4 questions or maybe 3 questions that you must, I think you write down before. And I will give you a time to think your answer, and maybe you can discuss with your group. Maybe I will give about 5 or 6 minutes. Is it enough for you?
I think I can answer it right now.
Okay. So you you can answer it right now.
So
Yeah,
we could save the time.
Okay,
Yes.
it's very splendid. Yeah. Okay, time is yours. Go on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reddy.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
would like to thank all of the judges for the questions. Firstly, I will answer Mr. Agustino's questions about how we could implement the speak up culture in Indonesia. Well, I personally, we personally believe that it is true that Indonesians are quite timid and doesn't want to speak up in a way. Maybe Foreign could move to the slide in similarities and differences. Next. Okay, thank you. So in here, we could see that Americans are more open and curious about personal talks and tend to self-promote. So in Americans, they are very confident about themselves, and they like to self-promote in a way where they want to promote their achievements and other things that they are proud of. Therefore, they are more confident to speak up about what they are thinking of. While Indonesians, they tend to be more private and humble in a way. They like to listen to other speakers talk instead of talking to other speakers. So in here, we could also see that Americans like to use direct communication speech. Direct communication speech is where they like to speak to the point, while Indonesians like to use indirect communication, where they believe that listening to other people is better than talking about themselves. So what do we think on how to improve the speak up culture in Indonesia? So one way is by maybe partaking in this kind of event or competition where we are pushed to use our public communication skill and speak up on our studies that we have done. So for me, being on public and speaking our thoughts will help in increasing the speak up culture in Indonesians, especially for our generations. I think that is all for our answer to Mr. Agustino's questions. And I would like to move on to Ms. Rani questions, which is about work hard and play hard have been implemented in Indonesians millennials. Florentina, could you go back to the slide about indulgence? So even though in Indonesia scored 38 on Hofstede's cultural dimension theory, we totally agree with Ms. Reni's statement where she states that Indonesians millennials are also implementing this work hard, play hard culture in Indonesia, right? So for us, we believe that Indonesians culture are competing with other developed countries and also partaking in the globalizations, in the fast-moving globalizations that is going on in the world. So Indonesians millennials are very open to change. Therefore, they are also implementing this cultural theory of America, which is work hard, play hard. For me, I think work hard, play hard doesn't actually give a bad impact on these millennials. Why? Because we also need to relax our mind and take a brief time to have a break on our stress instead of just keep working and doesn't have any time to rest at all. So with this play hard concept, we could actually have a time to take a break for a moment and then recharge our energy and start our day or our Monday on our weekdays with a more powerful energy and thoughts to start our work optimally. And lastly, sorry, the third questions about the power distance seniority from Mr. Alden. So in power distance, Indonesia scored 78 and higher than Japan power distance. Well, I actually doesn't like this cultural power distance cultural work culture in Indonesia. Why? Because I believe that seniority and giving respect only to those with higher status or authority is toxic, as everyone, regardless of their achievements or status, deserves to be treated as equal and respected as how they should be respected. So, but Indonesia also have this this culture that they are the tradition of Japanese tradition where they believe that giving respect to elders are prioritized in our society. Therefore, that is why the power distance in Indonesia is higher than Japan, because they implement this Japanese tradition from long ago, from years and years ago until now. They believe that respect to our elders and seniors are an obligatory as millennials to join or to implement in our society. And lastly, about culture shock, questions from Miss Theo. So for the culture shock, we could see that from the results and discussions that we found, Indonesians and Americans are very different and showing similarity only on in uncertainty avoidance, where Indonesia scored 46 and Americans scored 48. So the most significant difference we could see that in Indonesians and Americans' work culture is that Indonesia is group-oriented, where they believe that doing tasks or projects in groups will help in achieving their goals effectively. We could take a simple example of UIB examination, where it is a group-based project, while Americans are individualistic. They do tasks and projects mostly not by groups, but based on each individuals. They believe that doing tasks separately helps them in achieving their goals faster. Another example I could give is that contrary-wise from Indonesia, most examinations in Americans are done based on individual project or report. So what way could we make this culture shock not significant for Indonesians and Americans? I believe that we could, so if Indonesians working in an America workspace, we could slowly adapting by implementing their work culture step by step. Maybe from the explanation before that I have explained about the individualistic and group project, Indonesians could start working by themselves and train themselves to work independently, so they could be self-reliant and could show their potential more of their individual potential to the workspace. I think that is the answer to the question, Ms. Tio. I hope you are understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Maybe judges, is there something you want to add or comment again? Or maybe you're not satisfied with the Angela answer? Please, if you want to add comment, or maybe you want to give a feedback. Yeah, it's very likely you can give a feedback. Okay. No? Okay, I think that is satisfied, Angela. Great job. Okay. Yeah. I think we can move to the rest time. Yeah, maybe about 5 or 6 minutes for the break and coffee break. Yeah. Okay. Before we move to the coffee break session, I want to spin the next group for the presentation, and I will likely to inform to your to judge there is 2 group withdraw from this competition. Yeah, I will inform you in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I will spin the next group. Okay. Sorry, I will share the screen. Yeah. Until now, we have 4 remain group. Yeah, the 4 remain group is still survive until now. Yeah. And I just information just before the 2 group is withdraw from this competition. Yeah. Maybe I will spin the wheel, yeah, for the next group presentation. Okay, from the results is the next group from to presentation is Eupony. Yeah, Eupony group, I think you must ready and prepare your presentation after we finish this break session. The break session will for the 6 minutes ahead. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to return to the next presentation after a break session. Is the opening group ready for the next presentation? Opening group. Sorry. Group of lilies, are you ready? Lilies, hello.
We are ready, sir.
Okay.
Ready, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Please. We will wait for your presentation. Please. Please prepare it from now. Okay. When you're ready, just share your screen on your presentation slide. Thank you.
Baik, sebelumnya maaf ya Bapak Ibu, saya tidak bisa on cam karena kendala jaringan. Hello everyone. Before we start our presentation about Indonesia and China work culture, I would like to apologize for not being able to open my camera. My name is Natasha and my friend is Rian and Lilis. So have you dreamed of working in China? Do you want to know more about their culture? In this presentation, we will neighbor our important points that you need to know about the work culture in Indonesia and China. Next slide. Introduction. The country of China has the most population in the world. Besides, the China is also a developed country, so that a culture that is disciplined in various aspects of life, including culture at work, makes China more advanced compared to other ASEAN countries, including other countries. Indonesia itself. The punishment for work culture in China is stricter when compared to Indonesia. An example is the case of corruption. In Indonesia, a corruptor who harm the state can only be sentenced to several years in prison and sometimes get leniency. Whereas in China, criminal crimes are sentenced to death without exception. Next will be explained by Rian Prastama.
So the next slide is the pros and cons of Indonesian work culture. There are each other have 3 points, which the first one I mentioned the pros. The pros of Indonesian work culture is Indonesia believe gotong royong can encourage team spirit. Why I call the Indonesian? They believe that gotong royong can encourage the spirit. Because in addition to making work done so quickly, a mutual cooperation can also create a sense of empathy between co-worker, which will create a positive impact on the mood of the team or workers. Also the gotong royong it's not work on limited for formal works. Also, it can be started by cleaning the workplace together. Like for example, the employees tidying up the files and folders in the closet. Second is Indonesian build a mutual respect for good cooperation. Based on the research collected during the exit interviews, one of the reasons why employee resigned from his company because the company feels underappreciated by his superiors. Also, the opposite, a good professional appreciate the performance of his subordinates. If the work they do is satisfactory, it can be also the provide constructive criticism, which is a course done by the right place and the time. If it thinks that should be developed by employees in their work. The third is they did deliberation for more direct steps. For each decision maker in the company, it will be better if everything is strategic on the nature was negotiated at the first place and the benefit and the risks were weighed. For example, a program is designed and discussed among the related parties like CEO, leadership, R&D or research and development, marketing and finance. So everyone can express on their opinion so the agreement is reached. The next is the cons of the Indonesian work culture in China. The first one is lack of ambition. Why I call this lack of ambition? Because the best talent often go abroad in the search of a better opportunities. Indonesia often find itself with the second class or talent. Some which lack of some of which lack knowledge and skill area for as long as possible. The second is most are afraid to speak and express themselves. The employees hope their employees can give excellent ideas and feedback to improve a project or even a business in general. However, you may not see this in Indonesia. Do they say shy personality or tidak enakan? Indonesian fear being judged by Indonesian also fear being judged by their peers, like Mr. or Mrs. knows it all or knows everything. The third is having a hard feeling or took everything to the heart and don't see things objectively. Some Indonesian is where the people took everything in heart and don't see things objectively. This is a quite problem where everyone cannot get the honest feedback regarding their job. Thus, makes it harder for company to make a progress in their work. The next one is. Okay, so we gonna talk about the pros and cons of Chinese work culture. The pros have 3 points. The first one is the Chinese is always on times. And all the countries that want to progress and develop well must have punctual culture. Punctuality allows the companies to deposit their product on the deadline. In developed countries, lateness is considered as an insult and are labeled as shameful. This means that if you are late for work, the culprit is insulting the company he works for. For those who have an appointment with another person and arrive late, then he is considered insulting the person who was invited to the appointment. All the people are disciplined on the time. The company will start a deduct wage for workers who are late for the office, no matter what the reason, being on time and certainly a necessity. The second is they believe nothing is impossible. The limitation and incompetence always prevent any company from moving forward. Only certain people who are willing to fight these two limits can succeed. Of course, in positive corridors, this also done by the leaders in China and its people. They all consist of the people who are ambitious towards the target. Each of the workers will given a target that looks impossible to achieve, so that they have a willing to work hard in every working hour. This is hard work of all employees made a growth rate of 60% of achievable. The third is they always never give up. Chinese people who have a high work ethic, one of their work ethic is never give up. They will never give up no matter how many times their effort failed. In fact, not a few of them thinks that there will always be an opportunity to develop in their businesses. Next to the cons of a Chinese work culture. The first is the difficulty to integrating. In a Chinese workplace, most of the workers will be Chinese, because sometimes adjusting their culture can be difficult, especially if you don't speak Chinese so well. It can be seen that they don't have really share the same interests or common experience with their Chinese colleagues. The solution is learning Chinese little by little, increase your adaptability to work. The second is odd working hours. Although Chinese law states that any hours of 0 hours per week must be paid at 1.5 times at a hourly rate. This is not always be the case. Often overtime in the 1 week can be considered a personal time in the next. Some jobs will require employment to do work alternate Saturdays, and most of the job will require working and the weekend following the week off. And the last one is hierarchy in the Chinese companies. Most of the Chinese companies are run from the top and down. It's very clear that who the boss is and the distinct under the seniority that must be respected. Even if that sometimes seems illogical, but Knowing one place in the Chinese society in general is important, but for the ambitious and tough-minded expats, it can be hard to swallow. The next one is a work schedule. List. Okay, we're gonna talk about the comparison of work schedule between China and Indonesia. In Indonesia, working hours starts from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 days per week. And the second one is China. In China, they use a 99/6 working hour system, which is working for 12 hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days per week. The next one is sorry. Next one, it will be presented by Lilis. Lilis, go ahead.
So the conclusion of this presentation is that each work culture has its own advantage and disadvantage. Indonesia and China also have some similarities both in their work culture and in their respective lives, formed from various historical event experience. Local culture that was formed and then developed until now as citizens and while maintaining and preserving the culture that our ancestors gave to the country. So the suggestions that we give to workers is that to become advanced workers, we must make various efforts to improve a conscious work ethic. One of them is to instill the belief that working with sincere intentions will have a positive impact on oneself, society, nation, and state. You must appreciate people who have contributed in their fields for the public interest, because the more one's efforts are appreciated, the better one's performance will be. By appreciating them, you can give awards, support, guarantee, and help. So that is all from our presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much for the group of Lilis. Yeah, between work culture between Indonesia and China, the difference presented by this group are interesting, because we know that many Chinese companies invest in our country, and their country is now very dominant in economy. So how do we see this cultural difference as a form of improving a better work culture? Okay, I will give two chance questions for the judge. Maybe I will please, the first judge is Mr. Alden Nelson, and then the judge two is for Miss Theodosia, please. You can give your question, or maybe you want to add comment, or maybe you want to give feedback. Is up to you, judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Edi. Thank you for the presentation from Group Rian. Okay, when we see the work culture from China, you mentioned that they always on time and never give up. And when we compare to Indonesian employee, these two things is seldom and it's very difficult to have it. How do you think, an Indonesian, to have this, especially always on time, because when we have a meeting, especially, sometimes we think that 9 a.m. it can become 9:30 a.m. or we always delay. My question is how this mentality should behave in Indonesian culture, and of course this will improve the work performance of the employee in Indonesia, because Pak Edi already mentioned there's a lot of investors now from China come to Indonesia to invest, and it's difficult for us as Indonesian to invest in China. So this is the situation that we face right now. Okay, this is my question, how we can improve and how we can have this mentality. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Denison. Please, Ms. Theodosia, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. Okay, thank you, Ryan, Lilis, and Natasha for the presentations. So you already present about the difference of work culture in Indonesia and also in China. So overall, that you already presented very well for the presentations. So my question is, so you already show us the pros and cons of work culture in Indonesia and in China. So in your opinion, which of the work culture, which of the work cultures in Indonesia and in China, for example, in China, which work culture that can be implemented in Indonesia, like and also in vice versa, which culture in China that can implement the work culture in Indonesia in Indonesia. That one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Theodosia. Okay, Ryan, Lilis, and Natasha, you have 2 questions to answer. You need a time or not, or maybe you want just to answer it right now?
Let us discuss first.
Okay, I will
For a
give you
while.
about maybe 4 minutes. Is it enough? 4 minutes to your group for discussion?
Make it 5, sir.
Okay, from now I will start. From now I will start the timer. 4 minutes for your group to discuss about the answer for the question from Mr. Alden and Mr. Desia. Okay, time start now. Okay, 36 seconds again. Okay, bing bong. Yeah, the time is finished. And Lilis and Rian and your friend, please give your answer to the two questions that asked by Mr. Alden and Ms. Theodosia. Thank you.
Untuk jawab untuk pertanyaan, saya akan menjawab pertanyaan dari Bapak Alden. Bagaimana kita menerapkan mentality on time di Indonesia? Seperti itu ya Pak pertanyaannya tadi. Untuk jawaban saya, sebenarnya ini kembali kepada pribadi masing-masing dan lingkungan juga, dan juga butuh didikan dari orang tua. Contohnya ini saat masih kecil kita diajarkan bangun tidur tepat waktu dan mengerjakan sesuatu dengan tepat waktu juga, dan ditambah juga kita harus rajin Pak. Itu Pak jawaban saya Pak.
Okay, that is the answer for Mr. Alden questions. Now you can provide your answer for the question from Miss Theodosia, please, Lilis, or maybe from your group. Okay, can you answer the question from Ms. Theodosia?
Will be answered.
Okay. Is there a problem? Or maybe you want to use 50-50 features? Or maybe you want to call someone? You want to skip it or not?
Sedang merangkai kalimatnya Pak.
Okay, please. Okay, we will wait for your answer. Okay, maybe meanwhile we will wait the answer from Rian and Lilis. I will inform to the judge that there will be last group by Farah group, and then we will continue to the final session. After Farah group presentation, we will break about maybe 20 minutes for the prayer, for the Asar prayer, and then we will move to proceed the point of the judge, and we want to choose the winner of this competition. Okay, Rian, are you ready to answer the question from Mr. Theodosia?
Oke, jadi untuk pertanyaan dari Miss Theodosia akan saya jawab. Jadi sebagai masyarakat Indonesia, agar bisa mengimplementasikan budaya kerja Cina, kita bisa melakukan berbagai upaya untuk meningkatkan etos kerja yang dengan penuh kesadaran. Jadi salah satunya itu seperti menanamkan keyakinan pada masyarakat bahwa bekerja dengan niat ikhlas akan memiliki dampak positif bagi diri sendiri, masyarakat, bangsa, dan negara. Itu saja. Terima kasih.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your answer from Lilis and Rian. Maybe Mr. Alden and Mr. Risha, is there something you want to tell about to this group? Or maybe we can continue to other group?
Yeah, we can continue, Pak.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your participation from Lilis group. Now we will continue to our next group, to the Farah group. Yeah, Farah group, are you ready for the presentation? Farah, can you hear me? When you're ready, just share your screen.
Yes. Hello. Hello, check.
Ready.
Okay, very noisy.
Bentar. Wait a minute. Can I start now?
Okay, yeah, maybe your voice is very noisy. Are you in outdoor or maybe something where? Somewhere else there?
Di kamar sih.
Okay, William?
Right. Bentar, Pak. Kenapa, Bang? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm William. I'm from the Neo 3D group with my member Farah Fakira Syuanda and Karina Yusen. We will present our work entitled Analysis of Difference in the Work Culture of the unit State and Indonesia. Well, first, I will explain about what is work culture. Work culture is a habit that is a career rapidly work culture is habit that is carried out rapidly by employees in organization. Violation of this habit does not have a fail session, but from the preparator for the organization body have agreed that this habit is habit that must be addressed in the context of carry out work to achieve goals. The next slide will continue by Farah Shakira.
Thank you, William. Okay, I will explain for the next slide, which is about American and Indonesian work culture profile. According to ITB 2021, the work culture in America has three kinds of culture as follow. Individualist. From the research conducted by the Hofstede Center, 50 companies in America has an individualist work culture. Being unable to complete the work yourself is something you to be proud of there. Employees also want to be given the freedom to find a way out of their own work. Even some employees feel uncomfortable when they are too regulated by their manager while completing work. The next is work is very important. They often find it difficult to divide their time between work and personal time. Not infrequently, holidays are filled with work. According to research, Americans work long hours. In 1 week, they can spend more than 50 hours working. Third is communication in the office. They tend to give positive opinions, and it is easier to give appreciation to their subordinates. In addition, ethics when giving criticism to others is to give criticism in a positive way and answer it with more positive feedback. The next is Indonesian work culture profile. Indonesian work culture according to Paris & Co. 2018. The work culture in Indonesia has three kinds of culture as follow. First is mutual cooperation to encourage team spirit. Mutual cooperation can also create before William, jangan diganti dulu. Mutual cooperation can also create a sense of empathy between coworkers. Gotong royong at work is not limited to formal work, but you can also start by cleaning the workplace together. For example, tidying up the files and map in the closet. That way, the work environment will be more comfortable. Next is mutual respect to build good cooperation. A good professional appreciate the performance of his subordinates if the work they do is satisfactory, and can also provide constructive criticism, which is of course done at the right place and time if there are things that should be developed by employees in their work. Third is deliberation, so that steps are more directed. Deliberation means to negotiate. By deliberation, decision makers can avoid hasty and inappropriate decision. Next. This is a different work culture between America and Indonesia. In America, the difference is Americans is that they use time well and effectively, do not waste time, and consider time is a valuable thing that should not be wasted. Then Americans are democratic in the workplace, so they are used to respecting their every opinion, no matter a junior or a senior. Then leader in America are very teamwork oriented. Everything about project work is discussed first before execution and then determines the time frame. Americans always come up with lots of other plans if the project doesn't go as expected without feeling too bad about it failing. Then America are individualistic, where if they are able to do something themselves, they tend to be considered as something to be proud of. Employees want to be given the freedom to complete their own work. In Indonesia, the difference is Indonesian culture itself that many foreigners know it the friendliness of its people. In terms of work or in the work environment, Indonesian people have a work culture that is more or less the same as American. In terms of socializing, working hours, and joking, with coworkers, Indonesian and American are more or less the same and there are no obstacles. The difference is Indonesians tend not to be serious in using their time, even though the work is always completed on time. Indonesians also tend to work in teams, and in some workplaces, they still have high seniority, so that new employees are not free to have opinions or give criticism and suggestion. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for listening my explanation. The next chapter is conclusion and suggestion will be explained by Karina.
Okay, I want to continue the conclusion. First, America have a very structural work culture, have a good plan and like to be organized. Second, American have a teamwork oriented work culture. Third, American is practical personal. Fourth, American work culture is being individualistic. 5, American work to use time well and effectively. 6, American work culture is absent of the seniority. For the suggestion, in order to become a developed country like America, Indonesia needs to make a few changes to seniority at work, such as work culture in America. For sustainability of the community, better employee and development, American work culture can be imitated to get better results at work. Second, if you work for a company in America, you should immediately adapt to the work environment there so that you can contribute more to your job and learn a lot of new knowledge about their work culture. Adaptation is not easy, but it is done. It will make more easier and usable for life. That's all. Thank you for watching and the presentation.
Okay. Thanks for the Farah groups. Okay. Yeah. The following is the last group. Yeah, from the Farah group is the last group from this competition. The judge can give question to input the question or input to this group. I will likely to invite Miss Aurelia, Miss Reni, and Mr. Agustinus for the question or maybe feedback. This time is yours.
Okay, first, yeah, Mr. Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, thank you for the presentation for this group. I would like to comment on the paper. For the paper, I suggest you guys to follow the guidelines as provided by the committee regarding the writing requirements. Because I saw on in the paper on the page 4, you write on using the single space, while on other pages you use 1.5 spacing. So you have to be careful when writing your paper and follow the guidelines. And for the question, I have one question for this group. You previously mentioned that American work culture tends to be individualistic, right? is it applies for the all companies, American companies in general, or actually maybe some of the companies, some of the American companies actually tends to be individualistic, but some others tends to be like they implement the teamwork culture. What do you think about that? Is it individualistic applies to all the companies or maybe some of the companies? Thank you.
Okay, here is the first question from Miss Aurelia, maybe Miss Reni, or maybe Mr. Agustinus want to ask question, or maybe you want to give a feedback, please.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Edi, and thank you, Neo Trinity, for the presentation. So, what is the meaning Neo Trinity? Hello, Karina, William. What is the meaning of Neo Trinity?
It mean three people, three new people in one group.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I have one question, yeah, Neo Trinity. Yeah. According to your team opinion, yeah, so you need to discuss with your team. And my question is very simple, yeah, concerning work culture in America, because your topic now is analysis of differences in the work culture of the United States of America and Indonesia. But I focus on two things, yeah. Number one, we are talking about process oriented, yeah, and the second one is result oriented. My question, between process oriented and result oriented, which one more representative for the American work culture? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agustinus. Yeah, New Trinity, please write down your question from the judge, and then you can answer it in answer session. Yeah, maybe Miss Reni, you want to add something, feedback, or maybe question too?
Okay. Wait. Okay. Could you please show me your presentation? Okay. Please open the conclusion slide. I just want to ask the number one conclusion. Americans have a very structural work culture and have good plans and like to be organized. Then it's just a very I'm questioning about the very structural work culture. Is it true that Americans is very high in structural work culture? I mean that Americans is more like they don't have really good, really structural work culture. Everyone can do everything, just like that. So, what do you think? Is it true that you have this conclusion in your presentation?
Okay.
And also, one last question. How different this is from your conclusion to Indonesian culture, Indonesian work culture? Okay, thank you. That's my questions. Anyway, you have a very good presentation, and I congratulate you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Reni. For Vara group, you have 3 questions to answer. Would you like to have a time or just go on to answer it? Farah,
Let me migrate to discuss.
Okay, I will give you about 3 or 4 minutes to prepare your answer to the 3 questions following from the judge. Yeah, maybe we'll start from now. About 4 minutes until from now, yeah. You can answer it in Bahasa Indonesia. It's no problem. Just answer the question from the judge. Okay, I will share this timer and start from now. For now is 4 minutes started. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the time is up. Farah and friends, can you give your answer to the 3 questions following?
Yeah, Pak. I will answer for Miss Aurelia question first. It's about the all of American or just a few companies known that they are individualistic. So in America is known for its individual culture. Even superheroes from America are always depicted working alone, do it yourself. In fact, research conducted by the Hofstede Center, 50 companies in America has an individualist work culture. So they known by research from the Hofstede Center, the 50 companies in America has individualist work culture, not all of them. It's just from research the 50 company. Sebentar ya, Pak.
Okay, the question number 2 and 3. Okay, Farah, can you answer it? Or maybe you want to skip it so the judge can give it back to you?
Okay, Pak. I will answer from Ms. Reni question. Oke, bahasa Indonesia nggak apa-apa ya, Pak?
Okay, it's okay. Go on.
Ya.
Silakan, silakan.
Jadi tadi Bu Reni nanya budaya kerja yang sangat struktural. Di orang Amerika itu pemimpinnya menyukai hal yang terorganisasi dengan baik dan mempunyai rencana yang baik. Jadi mereka ini selalu membuat panduan mengenai hal-hal apa saja yang dilakukan sebelum, saat, dan sesudah sebuah pekerjaan atau proyek dilakukan. Jadi pemimpinnya juga menyiapkan seluruh template yang diperlukan dari awal hingga akhir proses. Jadi setiap karyawannya juga harus mengikuti panduan tersebut sehingga setiap karyawan akan melakukan proses yang sama. Jadi hal ini memudahkan setiap karyawan dalam melakukan pekerjaannya serta dapat lebih terlihat kemajuan di setiap tahapan sebuah proyek tersebut. Di samping itu akan lebih mudah juga bagi karyawan lain untuk melanjutkan proyek tersebut apabila ada yang bersangkutan berhalangan karena semua teratur sesuai panduan yang ada dan dokumentasi.
Okay, the next question is from Mr. Agustinus. Farah, please answer it.
Okay, I want to answer Agustinus' question.
Okay, please, William. Thank you.
Can I use bahasa Indonesia?
Okay, go on, no problem.
Baiklah, saya akan menjawab pertanyaan Bapak Agustinus tentang result oriented dengan process oriented. Apakah Amerika cenderung antara kedua itu? Menurut pendapat saya, orang Amerika akan cenderung ke result oriented karena bisa terlihat di budaya kerja Amerika, yaitu mempunyai 3 hal, yaitu individualis, what is very important, dan communication in the office. Saya mikirnya result oriented ini karena result oriented kayak melakukan kebiasaan bekerja, berkomunikasi dan kompetisi pada fokus di hasil akhirnya. Bisa dilihat di budaya kerja Amerika, di work is very important, karena di Amerika lebih peduli terhadap bekerja. Jadi mereka sering menemukan beberapa tantangan atau kesulitan di waktu ketika mereka bekerja atau pada personal. Sekian dari pendapat saya. Terima kasih.
Okay, there is a question from Farah and William, and the last group, the last fighter in this competition. Maybe from Mr. Agustinus, Mr. Eni, and Miss Ariela, is there something you want to add about, or maybe you want to give a feedback again?
No, enough. Thanks.
Enough. Okay.
And William.
Okay. Is it now okay? We'll move to the final session. Yeah. I would like to thanks to the groups who have participated in this competition. There are lots of discussions and explanations that we know about work culture in various countries. Yeah, I will. Now we have entered the end of this event. While waiting for the final results from the winners on this competition, the judge and all participants can perform the Asar prayer, and we will return in about 15 until 20 minutes in ahead. Thanks, and we will see you again in 15 until 20 minutes. Thank you. Okay, good evening, all participants and judges. Yeah, we would like to inform you the final session, and we would like to inform you the winner of this competition. Okay. Okay, I will like to please Mistress Evi, Ma'am Evi Silvana Musinati, as the head of program management program study unit, to inform the winner of this competition.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih Pak Edi Yulianto atas waktunya. Jadi selamat sore semuanya. Jadi terima kasih banyak atas partisipasinya sore ini, meskipun tidak semua kelompok ikut berpartisipasi ya. Jadi ini saya akan membacakan hasil keputusan dari juri. Bukan dari saya yang nilai, tapi dari juri. Jadi untuk nilainya nggak ada ya Bu Reni ya? Langsung. Nah, oke. Jadi untuk juara 1 Nah, juara 1 kira-kira siapa ya? Oke, jadi juara 1 selamat untuk tim Ngambis. Oke, selamat ya untuk tim Ngambis. Kemudian untuk juara 2 tim Faitacimu. Oke, selamat. Kemudian untuk juara 3 jatuh kepada Gabriel. Oke, selamat juga. Oke, selanjutnya untuk best paper. Best paper itu diskusi dari tim juri kita berikan kepada tim Ngambis. Oke, selamat. Kemudian best video, kelompoknya, best video ini Lili Cynthia ya, tim Lili Cynthia, dan yang terakhir best presentation itu Farah Fahira Suganda. Oke, baik, terima kasih Pak Edi.
Okay, congratulations to all the winner of this competition. Yeah, all your hard work is paid for this win of the competition. Yeah, nothing to lose when you go on hard work and then keep your spirit up. Okay, yeah. Lastly, I would like to say that is a series of competition events that we have held until this evening. We had a lot of discussion, and it's all for progress in our work culture, the mindset of young people, of course. Yeah, in encouraging economic progress and also high productivity. Hopefully, we can apply this difference as well as the positive side of the work culture of each different country. Finally, I apologize if during the event there were errors, both intentional and unintentional. Always healthy, and cheers. We'll give back to the MC. Thank you. Sorry, maybe the participant, please activate your camera or video. We want to take a photo session for the final session in this competition. Please open your camera. Okay, please, Verliana, Amelia, Estin, Tata, Windy, ya, please activate your camera. Nabila, Amelia, ya, Tata, Delvina, Caroline, Natasha, James, and other. Okay. Oke, dalam hitungan 1, 2, 3. Say cheese, cheese. Oke. Ya, kemudian halaman kedua sebentar. Oke, 1, 2, 3, smile please. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's all for the photo session in this. Sorry, that's all for the photo session in this competition, and I would likely to give back the time to the master ceremony of this competition. Thank you. Please, Mr. Kelvin.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie, to become our moderator on this final session. And next, after all event we have finished, we once again congratulations for all the winners. And for those who didn't win today, there is always a room for improvement. A man once said, "Experience is the best teacher," and let your experience be the better preparation for the future. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you and have a pleasant day. See you on the next event and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you all.
Agustinus, all the judge.
Okay.
Congratulations for the winner.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Agus.
Thank you, Pak Alden Nelson.
Makasih Bapak Ibu.
Terima kasih semuanya. Selamat untuk semuanya. Semangat.